5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Welcome back to the In and Out Talks podcast, guys, hosted by Tier 1 Performance. Your hosts, co-CEOs, co-founders, Jordan Powell, Mitch Matulia.
That's what I'm talking
here
about.
on the pod today.
Yes, glad to be here.
Hey, thanks for your time.
We haven't had a host podcast in quite some time.
It's been a minute, dude.
It's been a minute. But we got a nice, not action-packed, but word-packed podcast for you guys today, which is great. We're going to be going over things that our students or our clients have constantly asked us over the years, and we're here to give our takes on it, Mitch and I's personal takes. Both of us specialize in baseball, nutrition, and weightlifting, but, we are here to offer our opinions and how that affects our kids and our clients, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And also, we do want to discuss things of like, hey, where you're at as a ball player, like this point in the year, off season, what you should be doing, what you should be focusing on to be ahead going into the school year.
Right. 100%. Yeah, we'll cover all these things today. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
Yes.
Okay. Mitch, Casper, don't do that. All right. So Mitch, diving into it. Common thing that I get, and I've gotten this a lot from my 6, 7, 8, even 8-year-olds, is when it comes to baseball, what is timing?
So timing in layman's terms is hitting the ball square, right? And because you got a round ball and a round bat. But how exactly do we do that, right? A lot of it is having your foundation set. So in other words, no matter what kind of leg kick you have, whether it's a big leg kick, whether it's just a heel turn, to have your front foot down and established before you swing the bat, right?
Okay.
And so that way your gravity's centered, you have more power working from the ground up, okay? Now, we want to make contact with the ball, depending on what kind of pitch it is, whether it's middle, away, inside, is you want to start your swing at different timings. So if it's an inside pitch, right, you start your swing earlier so that you can make contact with that ball well out in front of your body. That would be considered on time for an inside pitch.
Right.
Middle, at the front of the plate, but still in front of your body, right? So that you can get extended and drive that ball back up the middle. Away, you do let that ball travel a bit deeper, but honestly not as deep as you would think, right? Because then you're flaring the ball, you're fouling it off, you still want to make contact so that you can still put backspin on that baseball. And I think the best way to work on timing for younger kids, 6, 7, and 8 would be tee work. You know what I mean? You're getting used to those different contact zones, working inside, middle, and away off the tee, and then flips, front toss, gravitate before you eventually get to live batting practice, right? But that's, in a nutshell, what timing is knowing when to start your swing based on the speed of the pitch that's coming at you.
That's kind of the way I teach it. When I say it to my young kids, like my 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds, when I go, have you ever heard of timing? And they go, no. I go, well, timing for those little ones, I go, is the time it takes for you to be square with the ball, like you said, when it crosses the strike zone. Correct. And then, after, this is assuming you've told them what the strike zone is, which is, the zone, your most optimal place to hit the baseball in the sport, and so then from that I describe, now how do we get our timing down? How do we have good timing? How do we get our timing to have contact in the zone? And I go through their leg kicks. Usually all kids have a leg kick.
Right.
So I go, what's your timing mechanism? Or, what is your leg kick? That is how we judge, how to hit the ball, right? Whether it's small, whether there's no leg kick, whether there's a massive leg kick, those are all timing mechanisms, you know. For example, you know, I had a small leg kick when I played. It didn't come up, but how did I control that? I went very slow. And then when I could always put my foot down as fast as I can, and then I put my foot down where I need to by looking at the ball, and then I was on time every time. If the pitch was middle, like you said, I hit it in the middle. If it was inside, I maybe was a little early. If it was away, I was a little bit late. All based on the middle pitch. But, you know, like, that is, in a nutshell, how I kind of describe timing is, you know, using timing mechanisms, and that's how you get to that set platform
100%.
And hit that baseball. Now, you can also, you know, really dive into it, you know, like pitch recognition and then seeing it out the gate, and you can always dive into that. But for basic stuff, that is
for
what
6, 7, 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
And then I think like the next level to that, like middle school, high school, college guys, is making your swing path as efficient and effective as possible.
100%.
Meaning like, because like the velocity is going to increase. So you don't want any wasted movements. In other words, you're keeping your hands inside. You're being as direct to the ball as possible.
100%.
So that your timing is better, because that's what coaches and scouts look for, is that quick twitch, fast twitch muscle fibers, you know, getting to that ball fast, and having good, loose, quick hips helps you do that as well.
I'll also add to that, by having a pad directly to the ball, you can extend your swing through the zone longer, which means not only are you on time and you're getting the most, you're putting everything you have behind that ball and driving it all the way through, but you can also, in a nutshell, also, you could be a little bit early or late and still have drivability to the baseball by having your swing in the most optimal angle, but like also through the zone as long as possible.
Right.
And if you're able to do that, like, you could be a hair early and still knock it out. You could be a hair late, still drive it out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that next upper echelon level type of
100%. Like, I think very, very, very rarely is your timing going to be perfect all the time, right? Like, it's never going to be. So the longer your bat head's in the zone, the better chance you have of still putting the ball in play with authority.
Right, 100%. Yeah. Your turn on the question.
Yeah. So a question I often get asked is, what does it mean by keeping your hands inside the baseball?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. So when someone says, you know, keep your hands inside the baseball, to me personally, I never understood what that meant. Keep your hands inside the baseball, you know, like, your natural reaction is to club it with topspin, right? When you're a young kid, almost like a tennis racket, and you want to swing outside.
Rodney wrist drills.
Yeah. Terrible bad habits. They're instilled into us to this day. And so how I kind of grasped it was, honestly, I was just hitting on the tee by myself.
Right.
And, you know, I was like, I know I need to stay inside the baseball because I was struggling to hit the outside pitch. Mm-hmm. And I might have been like 11, 12, maybe 13. No, I don't think I was 13, but like maybe 11 or 12 when I really couldn't hit the outside pitch. Like, I was feeling myself hit it not only at the end of the bat, but like when I made contact, it just felt like the bat was dead. Right. Like, which means I wasn't hitting on the sweet spot, which means I wasn't hitting the ball correctly. And I was like, what am I doing? And it took me to realize that staying inside the baseball means that both your hands and your barrel, as they're approaching the strike zone, are inside the strike zone. So, for example, if I'm swinging and the ball is coming, and actually this is perfect. The mic is where the ball is projected to be, right? I have to be inside the baseball here to get my bat path, if this was realistic, my barrel here,
right,
to drive it. Most people on instinct, most kids, they want to come here and they see that ball coming at them and they want to come out here and then generate all this strength and power right here. And then that's how, you know, either they foul it or you get a weak hit or they hit it off the end of the bat or they get jammed.
Which is what we call casting, right? So whenever you hear the term casting, when you're pushing your hands away from your body and you're trying to wrap around the baseball, and you oftentimes will get jammed, right? That's when your hands start ringing, because maybe you're a little bit late on the ball, you're trying to get around the baseball, instead of hitting the ball with authority like the other way or up the middle.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like what I would consider keeping your hands inside the baseball. And that's how I was able to learn it. But it took me, I mean, it's not like I didn't have a coach say, keep your hands inside the baseball. Like, we've all heard that. Right. I didn't really have somebody explain it in a way that I could understand. And
Right.
maybe the way I explained it, other people can't understand it still, which is perfectly fine. It just took that little bit of in-depth searching of trial and error for me to kind of get that.
Correct.
And then, a little bit advancement, kind of like what you said earlier, the next level, I would probably work on being inside the baseball, maybe doing like a fungo drill and trying to keep my hands inside to generate backspin. Because if you can generate backspin, your ball will go 10 times farther
For sure.
than if it did with topspin, right?
Correct. What do you got?
All right. Okay. Another question that I get asked that is pretty common is, how do I get out of a slump?
So, this is situational. I think there's lots of ways to get out of a slump, right? One of them, though, would be to change what you're doing, okay? So currently, if you're, practicing a certain way, maybe you're eating a certain way, maybe you're sleeping a certain way, change behavior in a positive manner, maybe get more sleep, maybe, get some extra work in the batting cages, whatever you're struggling with at the plate. Maybe you're an older guy and you're having a hard time hitting a slider, maybe a changeup, curveball, whatever. Start working on that off the machine, right? I think oftentimes, though, what helped me personally get out of slumps was just going back to the basics, as far as dude, act as if you're in the backyard playing wiffle ball with your buddies, right? Don't take things too seriously, okay? And I think that helped me, because I was like, man, I was just getting in my head about I don't know, just you're trying to swing too hard, for example, instead of just see ball, hit ball. Go back to the bare basics. Maybe move up in the box, maybe move back in the box. Just subtle things, man. But if you're a guy that you're a gym rat, or you're always in the cage, maybe take a day off. Maybe take a couple days off, right?
Ooh,
maybe
that's a good one.
Maybe go out with your buddies. Maybe get your mind off of baseball. Go enjoy yourself to get back on track. And so I think at a higher level, when you tie one off with the boys out on the town in college, right? That's a fun time where you're just getting your mind off of things, and you just go grab a couple drinks at the bar or something. When you're of age, of course.
Of course, respectfully.
But if you're a younger kid, maybe I don't deal with a lot of younger kids, though, that go to the cages enough, right? Or
okay. You usually see this struggle in high school players, for sure.
Yeah. So I think if you're a youngster, if you're 6, 7, or 8, and you're in a slump,
this question stems from my
high school,
10,
college.
11, all the way through college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you have to evaluate what you're doing, and you either do the opposite of what you're doing,
right,
or you just kind of hey, maybe I need to detach from baseball for a few days, get my mind off things, spend some quality time with family and friends, get back after it. I'm not really thinking about baseball.
Yeah.
I
mean, so one, I want to clarify what is when you're going through a slump and when you're not. So if you are line driving the baseball, and people are making diving plays, you're sending one hop screamers to third and they're throwing you out, you hit a foul ball, home run, and then you struck out or something like that, I do not consider those slumps.
No.
Especially if that happens in a row.
Right.
That is the game. For whatever reason, it chose to punish you and test you out mentally, but that is not a slump. Now, if you're in a slump, you are rolling over constantly, you are constantly striking out, you are flying out, you are not touching the baseball or driving it like you're supposed to, right? And you're not having competitive at-bats, that is what I would consider a slump.
I agree.
And now, so I'm going to take this in 2 tiers. So when I was in high school and younger, I would consider myself a power hitter, and so when I was in a slump, the thing that I would do that constantly helped me was I had to make it simple. Mm-hmm. I had to make my goal, my objective, because I'm very different from you. I'm not carefree on the field, that. I'm very analytical.
Yeah.
I'm super mean.
Very mean.
Super competitive, it's the only time I can literally let it all out, right? So when it came to that, instead of me, with runners on first and second or nobody on, instead of me trying to drive one to the gap, how about I just try to get on first by any means possible?
Right.
Just get to first, because in my mind I can make something happen, or one, put the pressure on somebody else.
Right.
That, and I know that's kind of a messed up way to think about it, but if I can just get to first, not how, don't worry about how. I don't care if he makes an error. I don't care if he walks me. I don't care if he beams me. I don't care if I hit a home run. I don't care if I hit a bloop single. If I can just touch first base, that is the exact opposite of what the team of what my opponent wants, and what my coaches and my teams need is to me to get on first base. Doesn't matter how, right?
Right.
And that, I think, alone helps me switch and be like, oh, I'm back on first. Well, it can't be bad because, you know, something statistically wise went green for me. Right, so that's kind of how I get it out, and then slowly it'll transition to, all right, if I can touch first, now I can do it with my bat, you know, and then I can do it once or twice, and then I'm back out of it, right? And now we focus back on our doubles, our triples, our home run. What is this guy throwing? And then from the college standpoint, this directly involves my success with being fast. So if you are fast, you should learn how to drag bunt, as well as also swing for power. So I was like a power hitter, turned into like a leadoff batter in college. And I could fly. And so, you know, the thing that I would do, especially if I was struggling, like if I went 0 for 3 in a game, which was rare, but if I did go 0 for 3, because it did happen, you know, I was like, I need to get a hit as fast as possible. That's how your mind's working. It's not how you should be thinking, but that's how you're like, I got to get on base somehow, some way. And the one thing I do is I always have my drag bunt in my back pocket. That is a guaranteed single and a guaranteed hit and a guaranteed mental backbreaker to make my day instantly easier. And so what I do is I always, especially like the lead off the game, because if I can get that hit out the way, I'm done. So I get up, lead off batter, I'm going to give myself one pitch and I'm going to swing as hard as I can. And I take an absolute G-hack. And honestly, sometimes I connect. And it's a bomb. 85 to 95% of the time, it's a foul ball / swing and miss, right? But what does that do? That makes the third baseman back up 3 feet. Like, I'm not a small guy. I'm like 6 foot, like 220 in college, like, right? So I'm not like small. So the guy takes like 3 steps back. Off the line, third baseman off the line. Has a lot of daylight between me and him. He's behind the bag. And so now, guy, obviously his pitcher's it doesn't matter what he throws, as long as it's a strike, I'm gonna drop it down the third base line. And I can. And if the pitcher throws a ball and I pull back, we're battling 1-1 now, and now he's probably even with the bag, I could still take that chance. And the thing about drag bunt is perfect or foul. If you're perfect, you're safe. If you're foul, get to hit again. So, you know, always having that in my back pocket, I never had slumps to where I had to go through a mental torment if I could drop that drag bunt. You know, being able to drag bunt in no strikes or 1 strike situations and then always put it down the line, you can master that craft. You will never, ever go through a slump.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're exactly right. And something to add on to that, too, is just like, dude, the best players in the world, they don't get too high and they don't get too low. Their emotions are pretty stable throughout the course of their careers. And like, you got to stay positive. You know what I mean? Like, baseball is a sport that's going to derail you mentally. And it's not to say like play like a robot. You know, you can't just play with zero emotion, but like, you know, you can get excited about when you do good things and whatnot. But like, you should leave the ball field. Your body language should show, like, I should not be able to tell if you went 5 for 5 with 5 home runs or 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts based on the way you carry yourself off the field. You have to have a short-term memory with this game, right?
I mean, if I went 5 for 5 with 5 home runs, there would be signs.
There'd be signs, sure.
But like, for an overall
generally
demeanor,
speaking, you got to stay emotionally, and that's the way you get out of slumps, man, is like, you stay positive. You stay emotionally 100%. Like, hey, I'm gonna be just fine, right? Like
100%.
Yeah.
What do you got? What's your next one?
Man, how do I hit home runs?
Ooh.
Yeah, because that's what the game's revolved around right now, right?
Of course. Home runs are sexy.
They are.
Home runs are
They're
great.
very fun.
They're beautiful.
They're very fun.
What age group are we talking here?
Man, I hear this a lot with younger guys, like especially right around the late elementary, early middle school.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. So what I would tell these people, if you want to hit home runs, which is perfectly possible, you need to have the most optimal swing to hit home runs. And you need to have the output of an optimal swing in game time situations. So what does that mean? Optimal swing. Just like we talked about, being on time, being direct to the ball and being through the strike zone as long as possible is a optimal swing.
Right.
That every baseball player should strive to have. That also with timing, right?
Yeah.
You know, gives you said home run, right? And you don't have to be the biggest guy on the field. You don't have to be the smallest guy on the field. You don't have to be the brightest guy on the field. You just got to be the guy. You just got to be the guy that does it on the field, and that's the hardest part, right? Because baseball, I hate that saying that home runs are accidents. They're not. They're pre-calculated efforts that
100%.
Converge into one moment, right? So, in order for kids to do that, they want to copy what they see, but in that age group, they should be trying to copy what they feel when they do it right. Yeah. And sadly, when they do it right, it's in a cage, and kids are like Play-Doh, they're like sponges in the sense that they will absorb, but when you let go, they go back to how they were, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like this kid swung like maybe 3 home runs in the cage. Maybe did it. Maybe sure did do it. I'm not down it. Not down him, but will he still remember that feeling? In a game that he has 3 days from now.
Correct.
And you can as a college kid, you can, or even a high schooler, you can feel something and be like, I can hold on to that feeling till game time, so I know I'm doing it right. You can't ask that of a little kid, but that's the development aspect,
right?
If that makes sense.
And I think kids should also know that power is one of the last things to come with a swing. Kids develop at different rates, right?
100%.
But one thing that you can control, 2 things that you can control, is your swing, timing, like you mentioned before, but also your strength, right? Are you performing any kind of strength training, right? You have to do your due diligence on your end to put yourself in an optimal position, right? And so, guys, even if you're a younger guy, don't neglect the weight training, pull-ups, push-ups, med balls, guys, squats, lunges, all these things are going to contribute to your power. You know what I mean? And not only that, but the timing, the technique, yes, that has to be there. But you have to have the strength behind the swing to actually get the ball out of the ballpark. And that's why usually it's the last thing to come, because people's strength usually develops at different stages, right, in life. Some people at age 10 or 12 are super strong, right? They're already 6 foot tall. Some other guys are late bloomers, right? So you have to know your game, stick to just hitting the ball to all fields. If you're a consistent doubles guy between the ages of 10 to 13 years old, that's a very good sign that you're eventually going to be hitting home runs.
Right.
Generally speaking, right? When you get more strength and then you put more backspin on the ball, it's going to go.
Since we're already on the topic, what should we be doing in these off-season times? You know, a lot of summer ball guys have ended. A lot of summer ball is coming down to a wind. I'm talking below high school, because high school right now is still taking off. College draft just occurred. MLB draft just occurred. What should the off season look like for for everyone? I would say 13 and under right now.
Right.
First off, if you just got done playing, take a break.
Take a break.
Jesus.
Don't pick up a batter ball for at least 2 to 3 weeks.
It's 100 degrees outside. What are we doing?
Take a break.
In Houston, Texas, it is 100 degrees. It'll melt your cleats. My high schoolers keep grinding. You have nothing to stop for. But for my younger parents, and my younger kids, take a break. Take 2 to 3 weeks off.
That's so important, guys. Because guys, if
it's not your job.
If a Major League Baseball player can afford to take 2 or 3 weeks off after the season ends, so can you as a 10-year-old kid.
Can you?
Come on, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Enjoy time with family and friends. Go travel, do whatever your family does. Don't just sit behind an iPad. Go out, enjoy yourself. Maybe play some pickup sports with the kids. Maybe go play tackle football with the kids in the neighborhood. Yeah, be a kid.
Just be a kid.
Go play paintball. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore.
Mom and dad go Taiwan off. Go vacation. Or go back to work. Who knows what you guys have to do to pay all your dues when you're out there. I understand it's expensive, but you gotta let yourself breathe. The whole family needs to breathe.
And your body needs to rest.
The whole family needs to breathe. From baseball, I understand you got multiple kids doing multiple different sports. If your daughter's got volleyball, your kid's got baseball, and then your other kids got track and field, I understand. But give yourself a break from baseball. It's an outdoor sport, first off.
Yeah. And it's a lot of strain on your arm.
We're in the dirty south.
Take 2 or 3 weeks off.
Yeah,
easily.
take 2 or 3 weeks. You can afford it.
Gearing up when you've taken your rest and your body's fresh. Vacay's off, right? Guys, I don't care how young you are, and parents really, really need to hear this too. Lifting does not stunt your growth. Okay? Lifting does not stunt your growth. And in fact, it promotes it because it releases more growth hormone. The more you train, the more you lift, you optimize your hormones, right? You have a better chance to grow bigger and stronger. So you need to lift, you need to eat, you need to sleep. Okay? And I'd say kids starting off, get with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Ooh, I have a question.
What you got?
So you say this, Coach Mitch, but
yeah,
I'm a parent, and aren't the schools supposed to teach my kid how to lift? Don't they do that in middle school already?
So guys, like, listen, I'm not talking downly upon middle school coaches, and this is certainly not the case for all of them. Most coaches do not know how to properly train your kids when it comes to the weight room.
Or give them enough attention.
You have 75 guys oftentimes in that weight room, 40 to 75 guys, right?
Yeah.
You can't give your time and effort and attention to all these kids.
And make sure they're doing it properly.
And you got 45 minutes to work with, right? So I think the best thing that parents can do for their kids at a young age, if they have the means for it, is get them in the gym with a personal trainer. It doesn't have to be long term. It doesn't have to be super frequent, but just enough so to where like they know how to lift with proper form, right? They know how to control their body. They know how to push their body the right way. They know how to lift close to failure. They don't have to go to failure, but at least get near that failure mark. And I think in elementary school, you should be doing body weight bands, med balls, push-ups, sit-ups, planks, lunges, box step-ups, sprints, squats, med ball slams. Those would be great things to do as like a 6, 7, 8-year-old, okay? But by the time you're 9, 10, and you have had those 3 years of like body weight experience, band experience, you need to start lifting weights by like 10, 11, 12.
I think that's when I started.
100%.
I think because it wasn't, 6th grade? How old are you in 6th grade? 12?
12.
Yeah, you're 12. My dad had me lifting before.
By 10, 11, 12, you need to be lifting.
Yeah, before I got to middle
100%.
school, I had already lifted the bar and done squats and bench and incline for sure.
Yes.
Now, that being said, like, parents can also teach your kids if you know how to
If you know what you're doing.
If you know how to responsibly do it,
Yeah.
please save money, do it.
Save money. And like, guys, you don't need a gym membership. You can do everything you need to do at home. Like, it might not be fun, right? It might not be the sexy thing to do. Do it at home, right? And if you have access to like get a gym membership, or if your parents can drop you off, pick you up, like do that.
Oh, you know what? I forget who else used to do this, but my dad, no BS, when he would, like in the summers, when they didn't have enough money to send us off to camp. Like, obviously not going to pay for a babysitter. It was just me and my brother don't horse around in the summertime with my grandma, right?
Yeah,
but
granny.
he was like, if you guys are going to watch TV, this is back before TiVo. So if you guys are going to the commercials, you have to get like 25 push-ups in.
Yeah.
And 25 sit-ups in. And that was our requirement for watching TV.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And next thing you know, I'm banging out like 200 push-ups a day, 200 sit-ups to where like I can't really do it anymore. So I'm watching TV, but I'm like, face down because I can't feel my arms and my abs. I didn't keep going back into the couch. I just stayed on the floor.
And starting off, man, 3 days a week is all you need, right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, give your body time to recover, full body sessions. And then as you gain more experience and you're in the off season still, upper, lower, I think is a great workout split for most athletes. You don't need to really lift weights more than 4 days a week as an athlete, in my opinion. Certainly no more than 5. Like 5 is like the maximal amount of days that you should be lifting weights in the gym.
The Ethan Allens of the world.
Correct. You should not be. Your body needs rest, right? Your body needs recovery, but you also need to implement time for your skill specific sport. Like you need to run, you need to sprint.
Yeah.
You need to do agility, you need to do mobility and flexibility work, right?
It's not always just technically baseball stuff that you need to work on.
Correct.
It's all the stuff.
You got to be well rounded.
Correct.
And so that's why like
fill your holes.
And a lot of these high school kids out there, like looking at the upper levels, they'll just want to like throw weights around in the gym. Like I think we can both speak from experience, right? And you neglect your core, you neglect like, stretching. You neglect running or sprinting. These are all things, guys.
Flexibility.
You need to be multifaceted. You need to be well-rounded as an athlete, and so you should maintain a low body fat percentage. Right? You should be getting 7 to 9 hours easily. Really, as a kid, you should be getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Drinking close to a gallon of water a day with electrolytes in the mix. Okay. Stretching every day and lifting weights 3 to 4 days a week. That's pretty much the recipe for a well-rounded athlete.
Okay, we got another question. This comes from my high schoolers.
Yeah.
A lot of them go, I can't afford to pay for, a plan or like a strength and conditioning plan or a nutrition plan or any of that. And so a lot of them will come up to me and go, give me your best way, your cheat sheet to get stronger, faster, bigger.
Yeah. So I would say, listen, if you don't have the means to, first off, I think you need to not have limitations, right? If you really, really want it and you're a high school kid, you can go work a part-time job, make money to afford these things if you really, truly want it, okay? Secondly is you need to find mentors in your life, guys who've been there, done that, such as ourselves, right? To surround yourself around and to get information from. And, you and I, we can attest to this. Do we give so many kids free knowledge, free information? It's just up to them whether or not they want to follow it, right? And so if you go to the right people and you have the right resources, they're not going to necessarily charge you money for it. If you just ask them, hey, what do you eat throughout the day? Cool. How much of it should I eat? Cool. That's free knowledge. You know what I mean? But I think that there's so much information out there as well. But you have to be careful what information you intake, right? YouTube is pretty much free for these kids.
Right.
You can get on YouTube. You can look up nutrition programs for athletes, for baseball players specifically.
Right.
And there's going to be sports nutritionists on YouTube with their YouTube channels that are going to give you free knowledge and free information. Do your research, do your digging. But what I don't like to see from kids is the dirty bulk method, right? And it's kids wanting to get bigger and stronger, and they're just eating ice cream, pounding ice cream, all these other things. Because I don't care how fast your metabolism is, you still should be eating quality foods. And you don't have to get steak. You know what I mean? There's cheaper options out there that your parents can afford. There's tuna, there's chicken breast, there's eggs. Start there, right? Easy. I mean, that is full of protein, full of nutrients. You add vegetables in the mix, some jasmine rice, sweet potatoes. It doesn't cost near as much to eat healthy as people think. I think that fast food, first off, that food is plastic. Okay. Second off, man, you put that in your body and you're not going to be able to perform as high of a level. Okay. The older you get, right. You can get away with it when you're young. Okay. But the key is to instill good habits at a young age so that when you do get older, when you are done playing, you know how to take care of yourself. Okay. Or even if you're fortunate enough to play at a higher level, say that high level college, professional, you will perform at a higher level. You'll definitely see it at that stage. You might not see it when you're in elementary, middle school, and early in high school, but I guarantee you, if you're playing high-level varsity, college, professional baseball, what you put in your body makes a huge impact on how you perform on the field. Yeah.
So I would say, you would say probably nutrition is the biggest component. You said when it comes to most of your guys, when they want to get faster, stronger, obviously healthier.
Yeah, I'd say sleep and nutrition are very big. That is...
will probably have the biggest impact for a young high schooler, probably because their habits are so bad.
Yes, sleep and nutrition, but you also can't neglect the skill work. The skill work is...
and the weights.
The skill work and the weights, I think, are just as important, if not more important, than the nutrition and the sleep. They go...
This is under the assumption that they're trying to do everything already.
This is under the assumption that they're already in the cage 6 days a week, right? They're already doing their sprint work. They're already doing everything they need to do in the gym. Then the last little bit of it is the nutrition and sleep, But you do need to you need to lift weights. Yeah. I mean, if there's anything that kids can take away from getting bigger, faster, stronger, it's lifting weights the right way, right? Explosive, but also working on speed. Because I think a lot of kids don't realize that sprint work increases testosterone, it increases energy output, and it will make you stronger.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you don't push your body to the limits, if you can't push yourself to get faster, how do you expect to get faster, right? I mean,
but you ran track. You know what I mean? Like, dude, when you ran track, how tight did your body feel? Like, you are losing body fat when you're sprinting.
I don't know. When I was at Track Houston, I was just really trying to focus on not dying. Those workouts were so hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
But first off, and I didn't even compete competitively. My dad threw me in there just so I could get faster, so I could, one, I think, realize I should never run track. Two, respect track and field as a sport.
Yeah.
And then three, mostly so I could get faster and be faster than anybody on the baseball field, because who do you guys know on a baseball field that runs track?
Man, I wish.
Then as stereotypical as it is, the people that do run track and baseball, all they're good for is base running. You know, obviously aside from your freaks of nature, all-stars that, those guys that do all three sports, that occurs. But like usually, somebody will be like, oh, he's fast, he can run bases. But if you're already doing the hitting and you already got a glove and you're already working on your throwing and your speed can go up, like you don't understand like how much good base running disrupts the game at the high level. Right? Because if you got a guy that can honestly, especially, there's a lot of pro teams, there's a lot of minor league teams, there's a lot of college teams that are very comfortable winning 1-0 or really comfortable winning 1-run games. But if you got a base runner that can disrupt it, who can cause a steal, and all of a sudden now the tying run or the winning run is threatening and is on second base about to take third, and only 2 pitches have occurred, and he's constant, and now he's in your pitcher's head because the pitcher's trying to mix up his timing, but now that alters his control at the plate. People pay for that. People will pay for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if the answer is, running track for a month in the off season or 2 months in the off season to get you that opportunity, like how many guys are willing to go through that?
I think you have to restructure the question. It's not how can I get bigger, faster, stronger? How can I become a better athlete? Because as a coach, as a recruiter, they are looking for the best athlete on the field. Am I right or wrong?
No.
And that's why they recruit shortstops and center fielders. Those are, in high school, the 2 best athletes on the field, right? Yeah. And so the question there then becomes, how do I get more athletic? I lift weights, I stretch, I work on mobility, I sprint. I maintain a low body fat percentage, I eat clean, I sleep well, I play multiple sports. That's how you become a better athlete.
Mm-hmm. And playing multiple sports doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and competitively play other sports.
Play pickup games with your friends.
You can play pickup games, but like if you can take different sports, even just training techniques, training drills, like oh, you want to be lighter on your feet, you want to be quick, you want to have that first explosive movement. Basketball players have really good explosive movement and quick first steps. Right. They need to. Track runners also same thing. Football players, you want to talk about explosiveness, football players are explosive as they get. Right. You want to talk about endurance, hockey players are endurance.
In a world that sports are becoming so specialized, I think at a young age it's more valuable to play multiple sports. But then by the time you get to high school, I understand you might want to shift to just one sport, and I totally get that.
Especially on your area, yeah.
If you're just a specimen, like if you're Bo Jackson, dude, go play 3 sports. I don't care.
No one should have to tell you.
Play 5 sports. But if you're an average size baseball player, right, and your goal is to play Division I baseball, and your goal is to get drafted, okay, probably by the end of your freshman, sophomore year, you probably should just stick to baseball. Yeah. But throughout your adolescent years, I think there's some value into playing other sports to gain that athleticism. Because I think you and I both benefited from that. Like, you and I grew up playing 4 or 5 different sports a year in a very sports-driven, athletic town. So we were surrounded. Like, our environment, we thought that kids all over the world played sports like that until we left and we're like, oh,
it's different.
Some people don't care about sports, you know what I mean? Some people never stepped on a field before.
It's different.
Yeah,
these fields don't have lights.
Yeah.
No, but this was honestly a good session. It feels like it kind of just flew by. We're almost out our time limit. Is there anything else you want to leave the folks at home with?
Yes. So this is mainly directed towards my high school athletes, right?
Okay.
Is I don't have any offers. I'm going into my junior year. How do I get seen by college scouts? What are they looking for? And how should I approach getting recruited? Because maybe I feel this way, that way, so be it. You know what I mean? Like, how do I, like, the clock's ticking. How do I get recruited to go play college?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that clock should be running if you're serious about it.
Correct.
It should be clicking. Also, I would dare say sophomores too should be just as hungry or be in that same mindset.
Right.
You know, and then my seniors, y'all need to be busting. Y'all need to be moving mountains right now.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be moving mountains, getting seen, getting in front of coaches. I don't care if it's going to a camp. I don't care if it's cold calling, emailing. You got to be moving. You are and what a lot of high school players, especially if their parents aren't familiar with the collegiate recruiting process in any sport, kids, you are your own voices, you are your own agents. Do not expect somebody to hand it to you.
Correct.
Do not expect somebody to go out and get it to you. You quite literally have to do it. Even though Mitch and I both were D1 baseball players, you know, the amount of emails, cold calls, texts I sent out was astronomical. You know, I probably sent out filled out more questionnaires and, you know, emails and reports and all that more than I did probably in high school altogether.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember spending hours doing that just in case someone emailed. I remember waiting on the mailman to get a freaking letter and praying that it wasn't for some cheapskate money grab prospect camp. Like, I was just praying that it actually had my first and last name and it was actively directed towards me. Like, I just wanted that so bad, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my advice. That's my lasting advice. That's all I got.
Dude, yeah, I think like surrounding yourself with the best, hardest working athletes and players at your school or like in your friend circle, maybe on your select teams, that's who you want to be surrounded by. I mean, like, seriously, guys, if you're really, really serious about playing baseball at the next level, whether it be high school, college, pro, you got to surround yourself with people who are better than you, like straight up. You know, that's the only way you're going to get better is seeing how their process is, like what the work ethic is like, and that will wear onto you. Playing on the best quality select teams in the area that play in front of scouts, that play in bigger, better tournaments, that's important. I think going to camps, super important, right? Like being a better athlete, becoming a better athlete, going to camps, running a good 60 time, piecing the ball well to all fields, right? Having an above average arm, you know, having an above average glove. Like, those are ways to go out of your way to get seen. Yeah, your parents aren't going to do it for you. Coaches certainly aren't going to just give you a scholarship. Like, you have to go work for it. You have to go get it yourself and, you know, get gritty with it. You know what I mean?
100%. Well, Mitch, I think we should probably do another one of these host episodes.
Yeah,
relatively
absolutely.
soon.
This is fun, man.
Yeah, after we get the rest of these guys that are on our list together, we're definitely gonna come back and do another one. Probably for the fall.
Yeah, I hope you listeners got something from this, and something to add to that is please please subscribe, please comment any questions that you might have.
Correct.
That can help you out, that we can maybe answer, or at least find somebody to answer them for you, because that not only helps us out, but that helps you guys out.
Or anybody in the Houston or area that wants an in-live interview, if you think would be good to bring on the pod, for sure we'll reach out to them, send us their handle or whatever. We'll definitely DM them. If they're not in the Houston area, we do remote podcasts as well. Make sure you guys check those out. You can always get an email set up. But other than that, appreciate it. Thank you guys.
5, 4, 3,